Hey friends, so today we are talking about a life of a real estate broker. I'm back with my podcast. I know I've been gone for a while, but it's been really busy through the real estate season. And I had to think about how did I want to bring back my podcast? What exactly did I want to talk about? What do I enjoy talking about? So, what I decided is based on just some feedback from people wanting to understand what the life of a real estate broker is. So I am going to bring in more topics for buyers and sellers, as well as for real estate agents, and many of my stories on things that I experience as a real estate broker, right? And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the business aspect of it. But today, what we're talking about is the buyer's market going to come back any soon? Someone asked that question and it made me think like, people probably want to know this. And this would be a good topic to kind of bring back my podcast. All right. So there's three things that I want to talk about if we are going to be entering into a buyer's market. And really my answer is I don't know. It could happen, it may not happen. So first let us define what a seller's market actually is. So a seller's market is just that we have more people looking to buy houses than we have houses available for sale. And just from that definition alone, you know that we're still in a seller's market because that is the market that we're in today, right? And so the three topics that I wanted to talk about involves interest rates, the inventory, and buyer demand. Those things will determine if we're in a seller's market or if we're in a buyer's market. So just in reverse, what a buyer's market is when we have more houses available for sale than we have buyers that's looking to actually buy those homes. Okay. So when and if are we going to switch into a buyer's market is the question. Right. So first let's jump into the first part of that, which is interest rates. So if you follow me on any of my social media channels, you know I talk a lot about interest rates and what's going on in current events for the real estate world. Well, just last week, interest rates went higher than they've been since the early 2000s, 2001. And because of those interest rates going up, it has slowed down demand. But let's talk about why the interest rates are going up. So our inflation rate, it has been really high. And the reason why interest rates have been going up so frequently is to try and drive down inflation rates. Inflation rates are up because we keep spending money, right? So we need to stop spending money so that these interest rates stop going up and they stop the inflation rate from going up. They're trying to bring the inflation rate down. I believe they're trying to get it to 2%. And if that's incorrect, I'm sure you guys will correct me in the comments section. But the goal is to get the inflation rate down low enough, and then maybe they'll stop increasing the interest rates and possibly even lower them. Now, people have opinions on are they going up, are they going down? I don't know. I can't answer that for you. There's predictions that hopefully next year they'll start coming down. There's people that are waiting for the interest rates to come down. And I'll just tell you, it's going to be mayhem if those interest rates really come back down. But that's the reason why interest rates have been going up, is to calm down our inflation rate. Now, let's jump into topic two, which is the inventory. Inventory meaning homes for sale. And I believe the inventory has been tight for a little while. The reason being is from a seller's perspective, a lot of sellers have interest rates under 3%, me included, right? And they don't want to give up that low interest rate. I mean, who really wants to give up their low interest rate? So that has been stagnating the market because sellers don't really want to sell. They're holding on and they're keeping those lower interest rates. Now, that has caused the inventory to be low. And because of that, it created a lot of competition. I believe this is the reason why we have not slipped all the way into a recession, because the real estate market just has been so tight that there's so many buyers competing for the limited inventory that we have, and it is causing rates, well, not rates, but it is causing property values to keep going up, 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 right? Buyers are bidding against one another to win the bid, right? Get their offer accepted, go into contract and purchase a home. And because of that, it has kept the real estate market going, quite honestly. Now, with the inventory being low, we're still in a seller's market. And I don't see inventory turning around unless maybe interest rates come down. And then if interest rates come down, like I said, it's going to be crazy, because then you will get more sellers that are looking to sell, but you already have the buyers that haven't been able to get under contract, who's going to also be competing for these same homes. And so it's just going to be crazy. If you bought a home or you were selling a home during the pandemic, it was crazy. Some people like bid 100,000 over the asking price just so that they can get that house. There's people that were covering the appraisal gap, and an appraisal gap was whatever the house appraised at and whatever you offered. So if you went 50,000 over the asking price, you are going to pay that difference out of your pocket in cash between the appraised value and what you have on that contract as the purchase price. So it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And we might get back there. If they drop interest rates a lot, I don't think it's going to go down to 2-3%. But if they reduce interest rates a lot, we're going to see a lot of activity happening in the real estate industry. So the inventory is down. We still have buyer demand, but that brings me to my third topic of demand. Now, buyers, they are still buying, regardless of the interest rate. They are still buying because some people need to buy. It doesn't matter what rates are or what the market conditions are. There's people that still need to buy, and interest rates going up definitely has slowed down buyers. At least in my market, I have seen a slowdown, especially over the last few months, of buyer demand wanting to buy houses. So, how I see that happening is basically when you submit an offer on a house, there's not 10 to 20 offers. You might only be competing with one, two, or three other offers besides yours. Okay, so that's buyer demand coming down, and in some cases they might not have any offers on the property. So we see that there's not as many buyers, and because the interest rates have hit all-time highs over the last several years, it really has slowed down buyers. Another effect on buyers is that they can afford less today than they did a few weeks ago with interest rates going up. Every percentage that it goes up drastically reduces how much a buyer can afford. So the house that they could afford maybe a couple months ago, they can't afford that same house because that house went up in value. And so it's going to cost them a lot more to buy a house that they would have bought last year or even 6 months ago than it does today. So buyer demand has gone down, but inventory is still down. Now, when we flip into a buyer's market, because it's inevitable that we will switch into a buyer's market, it's gone like that since the beginning of home sales. Sometimes we're in a seller's market, sometimes we're in a buyer's market, then it goes back to the sellers and buyers and sellers and buyers and sellers. Buyers. You get the message, right? So in order for us to go into a buyer's market, the demand for Buyers to purchase homes has to go down so low below the amount of houses available for sale. Or for some reason, if sellers just all of a sudden started selling more houses while the buyer demand is low, then we'll start switching into a buyer's market. And what you can expect in a buyer's market is sellers trying to entice buyers to want to buy their home instead of the next door neighbor's house. So you'll start seeing closing cost help. They're willing to make any repairs necessary to the house, agent incentives, whatever they can throw at a buyer and an agent to choose their home to submit an offer on, then you know we're in a buyer's market. So if you have any questions on a seller's or buyer's market and you have a question about your home, what your home is worth, and some advice on what you need to do, feel free to either comment below or look in the description. Reach out to me, send me an email. I'll be happy to answer your questions. And if you are in a state that I don't service, which is Maryland, Virginia, and DC, I will refer you to one of my realtor partners across the country. So that is it. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me to talk about buyers and sellers market. I will see you on the next episode.